As number 2, thank you to council for coming and attending and listening as well. So if you guys have any questions or comments during the public comment, you guys are welcome right after their presentation. So we'll give the floor over to Vernon first, and then Chris will come in and give their presentation after.
Thank you, Mariah. Thank you, everyone. Obviously, I'm not Vernon. I am Jennifer Williams. Vernon is here with me tonight. Obviously, we are the owners of Garnett Engineering. Let's see if we can get this working. We were given 15 to 20 minutes for a presentation this evening. Obviously, that's not enough time to go over our entire proposal, so we have provided you all copies. Those in the council, if you do not have one but would like one, just let us know. We'll get it to you. Our presentation tonight will go over the design team, the proposal review, and why Bryant should select G&E for this project. Vernon is the founder and co-owner of Garnett Engineering. He's a civil engineer with over 30 years of experience. He is a registered professional engineer. He is a member of the Arkansas Academy of Civil Engineers. The core of his work over those 30 years has been related to exactly what you all need for this project. He is skilled at the hydraulic modeling, the water line distribution, the pump station design, water storage design, and water treatment plants. He is also an expert in the bidding and overseeing construction on projects and has done that statewide. I am the co-owner of Garnett Engineering. I too have 30 plus years of experience as a civil engineer. I am a registered professional engineer in Arkansas as well as a member of the Arkansas Academy of Civil Engineers. Interestingly enough, we were both inducted as the first married couple into the Academy a few years back. Most of my experience has been with the Arkansas Department of Transportation. I am retired there now. I was the division head of right-of-way, where I oversaw a number of sections related to this type of work. We managed utilities. I looked over the appraisals, acquisition, and any preparation of those easements. That is a big part of this project, and I can bring that to the table for you to get that done. We've joined with two select firms to complete this team. We have Livers Calhoun, who is an MEP firm. They're capable of providing the electrical that we need for this project. We also have Anderson Engineering. They are the oldest geotechnical firm in the state. These two together have worked with us really since our foundation on various projects over the last 10 plus years. And we are a proven team in this type of work. Garnett Engineering was founded in 2011. We relocated to Bryant in 2019. We're off Mount Carmel Road behind Target. We have a staff of 10, which includes 3 professional engineers, an engineering intern, and a professional land surveyor. You may notice in the proposal we listed a staff of 8. We have since added 2 support staff members to ensure that we have the capacity to complete this project for you. G&E offers a unique culture for the city of Bryant and for all its clients. As founder of G&E, I'll have Vernon come up and describe that unique culture.
Thank you, Jennifer. Another interesting tidbit about us is we have consecutive numbers for our PE licenses. She's number 550 and I'm number 551. We do believe that what we have at G&E is very unique. Prior to founding this company, I worked nearly 20 years for other engineering firms around the state. They were all great places to work, but there's a rhythm to a career in a consulting firm. I was a good hand. I worked myself up to where I was running an office, and about 50% of the work that I put in was chasing the next job, trying to find a way to feed the machine. You know, to be completely honest with you, one really unique thing about us, and we didn't realize this till we were preparing this proposal, but this is the first job we've interviewed for in 10 years. It's just not what we did. What we like to do is design projects. I like to watch them get built. I like to put all my energy into that. And when I started my company as a one-man show, that's what I did. And I just thought I wasn't any good at selling it. And, you know, I needed to go somewhere and hide out. But what we found out, kind of an unintended consequence of doing that, was that people like that. And, you know, the folks that work with us have tended to stick with us. And they find us and they think we're the best thing since sliced bread, which causes a problem. I mean, there's only so much help out there and so many people you can work with. So you reach the point where you got to quit looking for something. And when you believe and cherish the relationship between your customers and yourself the way we do, you really need to buckle down and take care of the people, dance with who brought you. And that's what we try to do every day, is we turn away much more work than we do. And we focus on trying to take care of the people that we already take care of, who've taken care of us and allowed us to grow and do the things that are important for us and the families that work for us. So you may ask yourself, why are you doing this? You know, well, and we'll get into this later, but you guys are one of our people. And if we've got to come interview to do work for you, we're going to do that. We need to walk to Memphis. We're going to do that to get this job because it's important to you guys, it's important to our community. There's only 10 of us. Jennifer or I, either one, are up to our eyeballs in every project that we do. We're not going to hand this off to a youngster to do it. I'm going to be doing the work. And you know, anybody that's familiar with our work knows that that's true about us. So part of what we've been asked to do tonight is to go over the proposal that we turned in. We think that you guys basically asked us 3 questions when you asked us to put our proposal together. That is, what do we know about this project you guys are getting ready to do? Have you successfully done work like this before? And what's your track record working with the city of Bryant? We feel like we have a lot of shared history with the city of Bryant on this project. We started working on it in the fall of 2022 when we did an ARPA grant application for you guys. We did that, as we did for all of our customers, free of charge. Those grant applications were pretty competitive. We weren't successful in getting the grant, but we did do a good job. We got on the project watch list. Shortly after that, in January 23, you guys entered into an engineering contract with us to start this project. The scope of that project included hydraulic modeling and putting together the improvement plan for the South Plain. And as part of that work, we did a preliminary engineering report that supported a WAC application that was turned in and approved for this project by the WAC. Another important thing that we assisted you guys with is siting the tank at the location that you plan to build it on. So we feel like we've already got to start on this. We'd really like to finish it. As far as similar work, you guys asked for lists of projects that we've done in the last 5 years. We have a detailed questionnaire that answers all of you guys' questions in our statement of qualifications. We're going to talk about one of them briefly tonight. This is the one that probably most closely mirrors the work that you guys are going to do. It's a project we did for Salem Water. It's in Saline County. It included a 2 million gallon composite tank, which is a little bit bigger than the one you guys are asking somebody to design. It was initially planned to be built in 2 contracts. One that included the tank. It also included a complete redo of Salem Water's SCADA system. And the other contract was about 8 miles of water transmission lines that supplied that tank and tied it into Salem's distribution system. G&E provided all of the professional services. on that project, except for bond counsel, electrical design that we use Livers Calhoun for, and geotechnical services and material testing, which we used Anderson for. It's the same team that we're proposing for this one. The modeling we did that was associated with that was done in KY Pipe, which is, it's our understanding that that's the preferred modeling software that the city of Bryant wants to use moving forward. We did a good job of taking care of the funds on this project. This is the amount bid, the final construction cost for each one of these 3 contracts. As you can see, every one of them came in slightly less than what we bid it for after we built it. Some of that's luck. Some of that's, on the timing of when we bid it. But most of that is proof that we put a good set of plans together, proof that we were out there and made sure it got built right. This last contract, I mentioned that it was supposed to be 2 contracts. We did a master plan for Salem that recommended some additional improvements besides the main ones that we did. And we saved enough money that they were able to construct those with money left over from the loans they got. We had similar results on the other projects that we wrote up on here. Maybe not quite as good as this one, but very close. And you see consistent effort. I now want to talk about our relationship with Bryant. And when it comes to a community like Bryant or a city like Bryant, there are several layers to that relationship that you have. The first one is with the people in the community of Bryant. We're a part of this community here. Our business is located here. We pay local taxes to the city of Bryant. We're a Bryant Water customer. We're a member of your Chamber of Commerce. We also support our community through the work that we do. May not be as popular to say things like this today as it was, but Jennifer and I see our family firm as our ministry for our community. It's where we interact with people. We leave everybody, not everybody can be a Garnett Engineering client, but everybody that interfaces with us can be left better than we found it. And that's the goal that we do that. That means we do lot surveys for individual property owners. It's one of the few ways we touch the public besides if we're doing a construction project in their yard. We do work for local developers. We do responsible work when we do that. There are people that come to us all the time that want us to design this or that. If we don't think it's good for the community, we don't design it. We tell them to hit the bricks, go talk to somebody else. Because our work is our reputation and it is us. And all we have is our name and all we have is our reputation. We've been here since we graduated college in 1994 and we're not going to this. We also serve our community by controlling costs on the projects that we design. There's always more projects than there are money. And we do a great job of making the dollar go as far as anybody does. The next part of our relationship, and this is the heart and soul and why you guys are our people, is our relationship with your individual staff. There is not a client we have where we have the lines of communication that we have with the city of Bryant. Our first job we got from you guys was in 2017 when Mayor Dabbs was here. We've worked with 3 mayors, had a great relationship, I feel like with all of them, but that relationship continues to the people on DRC, the department heads, down to individual code enforcement officers and project coordinators. We're trying to pump out a drainage project for you guys today. And I called Joe Henry because we found some sewer that didn't make sense on your GIS. And we went out and found where the sewer was so we can keep that drainage project moving forward. We're completely integrated with you guys. Or at least that's our opinion. And that's important. That relationship is a relationship, if we're working for you, that we're going to have with people beyond us. This is Saline County is our backyard. We do a really good job here. We know everybody that we need to know to get stuff done. But we also When we've got to figure out if we need to put a light on the top of your tank, we know how to fill out the paperwork for the FAA, figure out if we have to do it or not. We've done all this before. Okay, so the end of it is, why us? You know, I would hope that with the rambling I've been doing up here, that I've convinced you that we're technically capable to do the work, that we've got a unique, you know, culture, unique relationship with our clients, and that we have an exceptional relationship with your staff. There's two other things that make us different, why we feel you should do this. The first is, we don't have any conflict of interest. We're not trying to work for any of your wholesale water providers here. You know, we just want to work for the city of Bryant. You know, doing a project for a whole county, we're trying to serve 6 or 7 different water users and tie into those systems, that's a lot of details. And, you know, hopefully no details will get missed. We feel like you hire us to look after your interests, we'll make sure yours don't. And we'll just be looking after you guys' stuff. The other one is, we really want to finish this project. We want to have a bigger impact on our community than we have already. Because we think it'll be a positive, because we care about where we live, and we think it'll be a positive impact. You know, we already have the itch for this job. When you've got a small firm, you've got to manage your capabilities to make sure that you can make your ends meet. And the truth is the truth. You know, we didn't know until a little over a month ago that we were going to have to interview for this job, and that's fine. But there are projects we've turned down to make sure we have the capability to do this for you next year. We've added people to do it. You know, the good Lord takes care of us. If we don't get this job, we'll find something to do. We've never lacked for something to do. But we really want to do this project for the city of Bryant. I don't know how I did on my time, but we have some time left for questions, and we welcome this.
I noticed your percentage of change orders. How does that compare to industry standard, or how does...
Industry standard is to not bring the construction project in for less than it was bid for.
Right.
I mean, we were like under 1%, and it was a decrease. You know, I don't think in general that change orders are a bad thing.
No, things happen.
There's a reason you do unit price contracts.
Right.
And, you know, but no, we take a lot, we take a lot of attention to detail in our projects.
The reason I'm asking, you noted it, and so as it being noted, I'm taking it that's good, but I want to know what the average, if anybody knows, so that, you know, how good is it? Is it real good, or is it kind of good, or is it?
I apologize for cutting you off.
No, you're fine.
We noted it because we were asked to note it.
Okay.
I would guess that the industry standard is probably somewhere between 3 and 5%. It's typical to go into a project like this carrying a contingency of 10% to make sure that you're ready for unforeseen conditions and that sort of stuff.
Okay. Thank you. And you also noted cost control. What safeguards do you have on your cost control? I'm used to people telling me we got a budget and I've got to exceed that budget or I won't get that money next year.
Right. It's the other. I mean, we're trying to use your money the best that we can. You know, Lord knows there's been a lot of inflation in construction in the last couple of years, and there's nothing that anybody can do about that. But the main way you control it is you draw a good set of plans.
Okay.
That's measured by the bids you take. I mean, is everybody clustered together, or are they all over the place? It's also measured by the number of change orders that you have, you know, and why those change orders are happening. You know, on Salem, I didn't list it, but, you know, we had a pretty good sized change order before we started the water transmission line project. It's because the bids came in so good that we turned about half the pipe that was a 16-inch to an 18-inch. and took advantage of those prices. It's a big change order, but I'm glad to have taken it. I was proud when I was able to go recommend that to the board. I mean, you have to look at things on their face value. And people that know me know this. I'm a very straight shooter. I have an honesty problem. If you ask me a question, I will give you the truth, if you like it or not. Because the truth is in everybody's best interest.
I've got one more question if nobody else does.
Sure.
Can you explain, you mentioned conflict of interest twice. Can you explain a little bit deeper? I think I know what you're talking about, but can you get a little bit more in depth in that?
Sure.
Without getting too much into
No,
this.
I'm not casting aspersions or anything like that.
No, I'm not.
But when you go to negotiate a water rate with a wholesale provider, you bring your own attorney. They bring their own attorney. It's because you're both there to look after your own best interests. And you know, I think, why wouldn't you want your own engineer?
Yeah.
That's what I say. That's what I think.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
We really appreciate the opportunity. You guys giving us a chance to compete for this.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll give them a couple minutes and then we'll bring Chris up for their presentation. Like we said, we're not asking you guys for a recommendation tonight. It's kind of out of order. Do you guys have any questions for Vernon that will put in the we'll give them a couple minutes and then we'll get Chris in here to get their presentation set up.
Yes. So they came in like 4%, so that. But I was just curious.
Oh, I got mine. Oh,
Okay, all right, we're moving forward now. This is Chris' presentation.
Okay, good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you very much for inviting us here tonight to make this presentation for the South Pressure Planning Project, to offer our qualifications for that. I'm Matt Dunn, I'm the president of our firm. I've got Trevor Vogel here. You might remember Trevor. He worked with us on the master plan project. We finished up this summer. And Omar Alak's here with me as well, and he's one of our staff engineers. We've assigned to this project. We've worked on this project with us as well. So happy to be here. Thanks for having us. I'll try to work through this. I've got a lot of slides, and I'll try to work quickly. What I handed you, the bound document is this presentation. So it's just a copy of the slides that I'm going to show you here tonight. And along with the placemat that I handed you, which is, we call it a placemat. The other document I handed there, which is kind of a summary of a lot of it as well. So that's what I handed you out. So the South Pressure Planning Project, you guys, I'm sure you know, this is a project that has been around for a while. It's been talked about in the city for as long as I can remember. A project like this or similar to this. And you might recall that this table here is a capital improvement plan summary from our master plan that we finished up this summer, and the projects that the city has identified to work on in this South Pressure Planning project are the top two projects here from the capital improvement plan that came from our report that we did this summer. So we're very familiar with the project, and it came from the project that you guys approved earlier this year. I'm sure you know that. So it consists of a new water storage tank to be located on the south end of the system, much like the 2 million gallon storage tank you have up off Highway 5. A little bit smaller, but generally it's the same. A little bit different dimensions, but a little bit different in that respect. But it's generally the same type of construction. A composite elevated tank is what we would build in that size of the tank. And then the water line improvements to connect that tank from your existing distribution system to that tank. So those are the big items that was included in the RFP. But there's a lot of details that goes into those items, and I want to go over some of those here with you tonight. Some of the items I wanted to highlight here, that this is a excerpt from the RFP. This is not all of the scope of services that were listed, but there's some detailed items here from the RFP that aren't directly related to building a new storage tank or building the water lines to the storage tank, but also making sure that the water storage tank, once it's constructed, is seamlessly integrated into your system. And you know, in the end, your residents don't know much of a difference as far as the water at their tap. We're going to have some pressure issues we need to deal with, and the city identified those and added those to the RFP, and I just copy and pasted those right into the document. And so what I intend to show you tonight is I believe we're the best firm to help you to integrate this tank into your water storage, or into your water distribution system. And some of these little fine details can really jump up and bite you if you don't watch it over the course of construction. So a little bit about our firm. A lot of familiar faces here. I think you know us quite a bit. We've been working for the city a long time. Our firm consists of, we've got about 35 to 40 employees. That size varies from time to time. There are 3 partners of the firm. I'm the president of the firm. Craig Johnson there, that clown that is right over my right shoulder in this picture, he's one of my partners. And Bryant, the bald-headed guy, is another one of my partners. We own the firm. And so we're locally owned, we're locally located, we're just right up the road in West Little Rock. But we own the firm. In addition to us, in total, including us, we have 7 professional engineers on staff. In addition to that, we have 6 engineering interns on staff. Trevor is one of the PEs, and Omar is one of the EIs, but he will soon be a PE, right, Omar? So we've got several of our engineering interns that are actively studying to get that test taken. So we've got 2 other staff engineers. So we've got, 15 engineers on staff, We've got 3 licensed surveyors on staff, and you can see there the rest of our staff. So we've got a deep bench of engineers and CAD technicians in our office. I wanted to mention that just so you see our smiling faces every time we come in here, but we've got a large support staff back at our office that I wanted to mention and show you. And the other thing that's very important here is we have about 10 construction observation folks on staff, and those vary in location around the state. We usually try to keep them close to the work, but we got about 10 construction observers on our staff as well. So again, a little bit about our firm. Our firm was founded in 1938. So we've been around a while, and like I said, we're locally owned. We're locally, our office is local, just right up the road in West Little Rock. We focus on water and wastewater work. So there's a little bit there about water and wastewater. We don't do a lot of other engineering. We are blessed to be able to focus on water and wastewater work and keep our books full. We want to focus on the things we do best, and we don't have to dive out into other engineering disciplines. So we focus on water and wastewater work in our firm. Again, this just drives up on home. These are just some snapshots of all of our projects around the state of Arkansas that we've worked on in the last 5-10 years. We do water, all types of water work, water treatment, water distribution, water pumping, anything to do with water sourcing. You guys know I'm working on the Saline Regional Water Supply Project. That's a water supply project. So we do all the things water, and then we do all the things wastewater. So we do gravity sewers, wastewater treatment plants, pumping stations, water and wastewater work. That's what we do. So we don't do subdivision work. Not that we can't. We just are not. It's just not our niche. We do water and wastewater work. We don't do roads and bridges. One of the little catchphrases we like to use is if we're designing a road, it's probably going to a wastewater plant or a water plant. So it's not that we can't design these things, but these are just not things that are in our wheelhouse. You know, we don't chase sidewalk projects. We don't chase airport projects. You know, civil engineering is a broad discipline, and we're blessed to be able to focus on just water and wastewater work and keep our company growing and keep our company busy. So we're blessed in that respect. I think that's important for you guys to know. We don't do other types of engineering work. This is just a quick glance at some of our clients. This is certainly not an exhaustive list. We primarily work in the state of Arkansas, almost 100% now. We've worked in Oklahoma some. We worked in surrounding states some, but our clients per se are in Arkansas. Our office is, like I said, right up the road, West Little Rock, and we work from northeast Arkansas to northwest Arkansas, all around the state. And a lot of these clients we've had, like you guys, for many, many years. Some clients we've had for decades that we continue to work for. We do have an office in Fayetteville. We opened an office in Fayetteville last year. We've got a lot of, you guys know the northwest Arkansas market is booming, and we've got a lot of clients in northwest Arkansas, and so we opened an office up in Fayetteville last year, and we've got about, I think we're up to about 7 people in that office up there as well. So we are growing in that respect in northwest Arkansas just by sheer need, because our clients are demanding that much of us out there. You guys stop me if you have any questions. So, to narrow down who I want to talk about tonight, and for this South Pressure Plane project, myself will be intimately involved with the project as the partner in charge of the project. We try to keep, we're to the size, we're not grown to the point where we try to keep a partner involved in every project that we do, either myself or Craig or Brian in all the projects that we're working on. And so I'll be definitely intimately involved with this project. But Trevor will be the project manager for the project, and his office is right next to mine. So you get a little bit of both of us, if you know what I mean. But Trevor's been with us about, what, a couple, 2-3 years now. Trevor worked at Conway Port before that. He's a Navy graduate, and he's a professional engineer, and he's smarter than I am. So we're lucky to have him, and he'll serve as good project manager for our firm. We'll assign Omar to this project as well, and he'll work on the water line extensions primarily, is where I've got him shown on the org chart there that you see in your slide, and that's what leads to this. I think that your handout may show this. I can't read this from this level, but I provided an org chart, at least preliminarily, for the city to review for this project, and it includes myself and Trevor and Omar and everyone else from our firm that will be helping out on the projects, from our surveyors to our field observation folks to our office help. So we're well equipped to handle this project for the city of Bryant, and we've got the resources there to do this project for you successfully in the time period that you need it done. We do have one subcontractor I would like to mention. In the grand scheme of things, it's fairly minor, but it can be a big part of it. Mid-South Tank Consultants is a tank coating inspection company. If you can imagine, they have a specialty company that does tank coating inspection services. They're over in Tennessee. He works all over the Southeast. We've been working with him for as long as I can remember, 10 plus years. And so we'll bring him in when the tank is being painted, and we don't have to get up and hang off ladders and hang off scaffolding and all those things that you got to do to properly inspect the paint on these tanks. And so he's got all the OSHA certifications, and he's got guys that come that are used to calling me up on these tanks and doing proper paint inspections. So Jeff is one sub-consultant. Otherwise, we'll 100% provide our own resources for all the work that's required for this pressure plumbing project. I won't get into the weeds here too terribly much, but we have laid out a project schedule that we can expect to use for this project. There's a lot of variables in this. When I laid this project schedule out, I somewhat anticipated that we were going to go to ARC for the funding of this project. So if that's not the case, and it sounds like that may not be the case, then all that timeline can be accelerated, because ANRC only slows projects down. And I tried to anticipate that when I laid out this schedule. So if you're going for private financing, which preliminarily I've heard that might be the case, then this schedule could be sped up. But this is, again, I won't get into the weeds here, but we do have we're well aware of all the steps that need to be taken to get all the approvals done through all the regulatory agencies to get a project of this magnitude approved and bid and constructed. So, experience with Bryant. So, you guys know Christ Engineers. We've been working with the city of Bryant for 15 plus years. This list that I've pulled together here doesn't come close to an exhaustive list of all the projects that we have done for the city over the last 10 to 15 years. It's just a highlight of some of the projects that we've done, including help construct that water storage tank that's on the screen there back in 2010, I believe. We have several projects ongoing with the city. The wastewater master plan, Craig Johnson's working on that from our office. And so that's a big project that's coming down the pipe that I know you guys will be getting more and more involved in over the next few months, depending on the schedule of how that comes together. The Leah Circle parallel gravity sewer line is another project we've been working on for quite some time with staff, and we just opened bids on that last week, and that seemed like it was a very successful bid opening on that project. And then we're also providing on-call engineering services, engineering support services is what we call for the city, in reviewing subdivisions and developments and any kind of planning review that's needed. We have one of our engineers on staff that's providing that service for the staff, and DRC review and that sort of thing. So we have an ongoing relationship with the city that we hope to continue with this pressure plane project. So speaking of the projects that we've worked on recently with you guys are well familiar with the water system master plan that we just completed. And again, this master plan that we worked on culminated in the need for this project that we're talking about today. So we built a hydraulic model of your system, or updated a hydraulic model. I built the original model back in 2008, and Trevor took that and took it to the next step and updated that. And so we've done exhaustive hydraulic modeling of your water distribution system. We know the distribution system inside and out. We modeled the proposed water storage tank there, all at the site that we've been talking about using, depending on if that comes to fruition or not. So we just did your master plan. We've gone through all the steps to evaluate your system and to understand the need for this project, and we know how this project can be successfully implemented into your distribution system properly. On the hydraulic modeling, I did want to mention the hydraulic modeling of the, back to the original slide that I showed you about the scope of work and the need for successful implementation of the tank into the distribution system, managing pressures on the lower end of the city, on the lower end, the lower the topography drops off down there on the south side of the railroad tracks. Many of the things that were laid out in the RFP, we've already begun researching as part of the master plan, and we already have answers for many of the things that are needed in that. At least answers enough to go to the staff and start discussion of those concerns. The map that you see there on the left is a map from the hydraulic model of the system, and the highlighted area down on the bottom is the area of concern in the south part of the system where we know that there could be some pressure concerns, where we may need to install one or more pressure reducing valves on that end of the system to protect the system and also protect the customers on the system, the individual water meters on the system. There's going to be some areas that are going to need to install pressure regulators on their individual homes because of the project. The hydraulic model is the origin of where those questions need to be answered. And Trevor is intimately involved with that hydraulic model. He built the model just earlier this year. So I believe we are the choice to look to answer all the questions you need to know about the south end of the system, and the need for PRVs and pressure regulators on your system, so this project can be successful in the end. Now, the composite storage tank that we're going to build. We've built several of these water storage tanks over the last several years, and I just want to highlight just a few of them here, actually all of them. We've done 6 of these in the last, really 5 of them in the last 5 years, and then 6 if we include your tank, which we did about, close to 15 years ago. This is a tank that we built up in northwest Arkansas a couple of 2 or 3 years ago. This is a 2 million gallon composite elevated tank that we built for Benton, Washington. This tank was, can't even read that now, let's say 170 feet tall, 140 feet tall. Yeah, this was a 2 million gallon tank that we built up there, so this is the same capacity as your elevated tank there. In the last, let's see, I think in 2020 we completed the water storage tank in Hot Springs, which is a 3 million gallon composite storage tank. Similar, same construction, different contractor, different dimensions. But a lot of similarities. This tank had a unique geotechnical aspect to it. You can see there's that middle picture that I included we ran into some really unique geotechnical hurdles that we had to overcome to build this job. And so the geotechnical part of any tank of this size and this magnitude that you're going to build is very important. And we're very experienced in that level. We're not geotechnical engineers. We would use a third party for that, or you guys would use a third party. We would work for them to do the geotechnical investigation, but that is something that is obviously very critical to make sure our water storage tank is structurally sound. Everything is hidden, so the general public don't tend to think about that, but it can be a real challenge to deal with the geotechnical below some of these tanks. But this was a fun tank to build. We built this over in Hot Springs, about 180 feet tall, and they got carried away with the logo, as you can see there. But it turned out really good. I had lots of stories about that. It did have a mixing system installed there inside this tank too, which is something we've got a lot of experience with. Wrong way. I keep doing that. 10 minutes. Okay. This is another tank we did up in northwest Arkansas. It's another 2 million gallon tank. It's kind of a shorty. It was built. We were able to find a location where the pedestal didn't have to be that tall. This interesting thing about this tank is we constructed a pump station inside the pedestal. So it had a unique position where we were able to eliminate a pump station, and we actually put the pump station inside the pedestal. It's kind of a different way of doing things, but it worked out really, really good. This tank was only 80-some feet tall. And of course, you guys know this tank. This tank was built about 15 years ago, right over here across the interstate. The unique thing about your tank, and going back to geotech, a lot of people don't realize, but that tank was built on a series of, I believe, 48 piers. And so it had a deep pier construction under it. So there's 48 piers. You can see the auger there in the center of the page. That was a picture I found of the auger digging the holes underneath the tank, and the piers were 70 feet deep, 24-inch in diameter. And so we poured piers for a month before we could come up with that foundation, because the geotech over there required that kind of construction. So we'll need to take the same precautions when we go to start design on this new elevated tank you've got here too. I'm gonna kind of run through this now. I've got 10 minutes. Here's another tank we did up in northwest Arkansas. This was for a chicken processing facility, Simmons Foods. This is a 1.5 million gallon tank. So this would be similar to the size of the tank you guys would be looking at constructing. Is there a question?
No,
You just put a City of Bryant sticker on that one.
we just said we owned it.
Yeah. Why we build a new one? We own one up there.
And I thought this was the perfect presentation.
There you go.
Dadgummit, Trevor.
Oh, you're playing Trevor.
Okay, so this is a big boy here. This tank that we also built for another client in northwest Arkansas. This is a 4 million gallon composite elevated tank. This tank is not complete yet. It's under construction. The tank itself is mostly complete. It's just not full of water yet. But the fun thing about this tank is it's the largest tank ever constructed in this with this. It's a composite elevated tank, the largest tank ever constructed in the United States. This is the first 4 million gallon tank built anywhere, which is kind of a badge of honor for those guys up there. If you don't believe me, just ask them. They'll tell you. It's a really cool kind of a cool thing to do. It is massive. I mean, the tank is just massive to look at. And the pedestal didn't have to be that tall in that tank either. So I would submit to you that we have a tremendous amount of experience with these composite elevated tanks. And through our experience, we developed, I came up with a lot of key design considerations that I'm going to have to run through here. It sounds like I don't have a lot of time, but AWWA does have a manual out on composite elevated tanks, but it's not a specification. It's only a guide, and it needs to be followed closely, but not opened up to these contractors. We've been in other tanks where I've got contacts with all the tank manufacturers, and so I know guys at all these tanks. These are the 4 bidders when we go to bid a tank. If we let them, okay, so each one of these contractors is different. Each one of them builds a tank different. They don't all build the tank the same. I've got dirty laundry on all these guys, and I think I can lead you to know the best way to suit our specifications to make sure that we end up with a good tank for the city at a fair price. That's my point of this slide. I've dealt with all these guys. CB&I's built 2 tanks for me, and Landmark's built 4. The other 2 on the right have not built any storage tanks on my projects anyway. Another thing that I'm not gonna have a lot of time to talk about, but I did want to make sure that you know that you need to be thinking about these things. We're balancing the hydraulics across the system. We're balancing hydraulics with the new tank to the existing tank on Highway 5 to the existing tank off Miller Road, off Hilltop, all the way on the north end of the system. And all these tanks have got to balance together. So we've done the hydraulic modeling. We know how to make these tanks balance together. It has to do with the dimensions of the tank. So the surveying of the water storage tank site is obviously very important, but the design of the tank, these bowls can be designed many different dimensions depending on the engineer's requirements. So the diameter can vary, the head range in the tank can vary, and those things matter when we're trying to balance the tank between one tank to another. And so if we get the dimension, if we get the diameter too bigger than the Highway 5 tank, it could cause a problem. If we get it too small, it could be a problem. If we don't match the head ranges between one tank to another, it could be a problem. We've already done this once. We did this with the Highway 5 tank 15 years ago, balancing to the north tank, and so we've done this in other places. Very important to consider, and it's something we'll take very seriously and make sure it's done the right way. We'll send our surveyors up at the end of this to show the staff that these tanks are perfectly balanced between one another. It's one of the things that we'll make sure and do. And then there's a lot of other key design considerations that I probably don't have time to get into, but just want you to know that every engineer is not the same. If you don't have the right experience with these contractors, they'll run over you. I can tell you that from experience. I've built 6 of these in the last 5 years, and then if you count yours 15 years ago, if you don't watch out, you'll end up with a subpar tank that doesn't look up to the standards that you're looking for, architecturally. So there's things that it may hold up water, but it may not be the pride of the city that you want it to be. So there's a lot of things to take into consideration when specifying these tanks. The forming system is a big part of that. All these contractors, it all goes back to the contractors. All these contractors don't use the same forming system. They all don't use the same concrete pour sequence. They all use the same concrete specs. The specifications on the front end will dictate how that tank is constructed. And if you let them run over you during the design process, they will run over you. I've had to do this with these guys before. And there's some, you can see there on the right, on the bottom right-hand corner, a good-looking tank, and the one next to it, not so much. And these things stand out. Once the tank's built, it's too late. Unless you want to go into some sort of litigation with these guys. If the specification is not written right on the front end from your engineer, you don't have a leg to stand on when you end up with a subpar-looking tank. So there's a lot to consider. I just want you to take that into consideration when you're looking to choose an engineer for this project. No, maybe, yeah. Obviously, a lot of decisions need to be made on the inside of the tank with the piping inside the pedestal. We've done this several times. Flow in and out of the tank is very important to make sure balance is right, make sure we feed the downstream meters of the system correctly. The mixing system's got to be done right to make sure we turn the water over properly in the tank for water age and some other water characteristic issues. And so this is something that we're a lot of experience in and very much experienced in that. Now, the tank logo has nothing to do with engineering. Nothing to do with engineering. But I've done this long enough to know that if the tank logo is not done right, nothing else matters. So I wanted to talk about it. So this tank, if we end up putting it where we think we're going to put it, it will be a highly visible tank, right? It'll be right here on the side of Reynolds Road, and it'll be highly visible. So you guys can go the High Springs route and put all kinds of stuff on it if you want. I put this up here as an option. You can get the high school to chip in and put their logo on it. There's all kinds of different ways to do it. But we need to do it on the front end, and we need to do it before we bid the job. Because after we bid the job, it's going to be a change order, and it's going to cost more money. And I'd rather not get into that situation. It's best to talk about these things on the front end and get those decisions made earlier. So there's lots of different options. You can put the city logo on the side of the tank. Again, I don't do logos, but I can help you get the logos put on there right. There's another city logo that I've seen floating around that I really like that can be put on the side of the tank. There's another city logo, I think,
That's too busy.
floating around that could be put on the side of the tank. I really like this one. One of my earlier meetings, the lady said, well, you might just put my face on the side of the tank. So I'm just throwing it out there as an option. That we can do anything. You know, you can stencil anything up there. You know, it's just an option. Just an option.
Water, not sewage.
That's not on record. That came from the back row. Oh, you can do something. That's the logo you got on the other tank. We can do matchy and match one tank to the other, which is not a bad idea. I call this one is my preference. I don't know if y'all willing to go that far, but that's just an option if you want. But just throwing it out there for discussion purposes. So, again, we want to help you in every way forward. Can you hit play over there? This is a video. Yeah, if you can go there and hit play. Yeah, so we took our drone out there. Did you pause it? Let me tell you what this is. We took our drone out to the site, and I had our surveyor spot the drone up to the top of the tank elevation at the center of the site. Because this is the things we want to look at. You know, so where are we going to see this tank from? It always comes up. Well, these are some of the things we can do. Okay, let it go. So this is a 360-degree view of the top of your tank and what you'll be able to see. You can see the high school there, obviously very clearly. It's right in the shadow of that. And then this is looking south. Just to give you an idea of where you'll see the tank down Reynolds Road there. You can see the existing tank. But again, this goes back to the logo and visibility, and it's a city monument. And I get all that. It's important. It's important. But we've got drone capabilities that we'll use. We'll use it for inspection. We use it for things like this. It comes in very handy. So you can see there, looking back toward to the north, you can see the existing tank, and you can see Reynolds Road there, back out to the commercial area there on the interstate. So we just want to help. We just want to do what you want us to do to help facilitate a good project. Wrong way. Yeah, keep going up. Why's up, down? So, our project approach, we're offering to, we're proposing to approach this with some of the most experienced engineers in our firm. I've been in the firm 26 years, been doing mostly water work my entire career, and I'll be the partner in charge of the project. We'll utilize our experience with your distribution system. We know your distribution system, other than staff, I would hope we probably know it better than anyone. We have a great relationship with staff, I hope and think. And I think we can, with that and with our knowledge of the composite elevated tank market, I think the obvious choice for you guys to lead you to a successful project on this very successful project. So I think we check all the boxes. I won't go through all those individually, but I think hopefully what I've covered here today is to demonstrate to you that I think we check all the boxes. I don't think there's anywhere that we fall short on what you need for this South Pressure Point project. So, as my daughter might text me, and my 15-year-old, I think we make a great pair and we can be successful together. So, with that, I will stop. Pretty close to my time. I'm sorry I went over a little bit. You guys have any questions?
Well, one thing I noticed the map earlier you put on about your different clientele in the state, and then I semi-answered part of my question earlier. You do private as well as cities work?
Very rarely.
Private is rare? Okay.
Yeah, we probably 95 plus, 98% plus of our work is cities, municipalities, water districts, that sort of
Okay,
thing.
so most of
You
it.
saw that Simmons food tank that was on there?
Uh-huh.
That's a rare bird. Okay, so they knew I was building a tank down the road at Lincoln, and they called me in because they needed help building their own water storage tank. So that's not something that we chase, that's not something that we typically do. Almost all of our clients are cities and municipalities. All those logos that you saw on that map are City of Hot Springs, City of Arkadelphia, City of Malvern, City of Bryant, Central Arkansas Water, Clear Hot Water, wastewater utilities. All those are municipal clients.
So you go in prior to that, prior to starting your project and kind of look at the whole city, like you've done with us in our planning. You look at the whole city and what they need and how
Not always, it depends on the projects. Honestly, most of those logos on that map are repeat customers. So they just keep calling us back, we're very familiar with their system. And so we already have a big background of what's going on when they call us in for a project. Or they may call us in to do a headworks job at a wastewater treatment plant that we've already worked out in the past, or various things like that. So it varies, but we, actually, many times we don't get to do a full master plan for a client and then roll right into a project. Sometimes we do, but many times we already have that background in our catalog.
Any other questions? They're going to be here on the 29th as well to answer any questions. Any questions from council? I know we're a little bit over time, so I don't want to run over. Do you have a question?
Quick question.
Yep.
Who owns the hydraulic modeling?
The hydraulic model, we have the software. We don't ever get ticky-tacky with that. It's we built it for you, you paid for it, you can have it.
Okay.
But you have to have the software.
Right.
So we'll give you the file, of course.
And then what about your budget overruns on projects, percentage of projects, percentage of overrun, et cetera? Change orders.
On construction projects? Yeah. Well, historically, we've had very, very low change orders on all of our projects. I'm not gonna lie, through COVID, we struggled like everybody did to keep pre-COVID budgets on the rails kind of thing. But we've always, we've done an excellent job. I've got a slide, I should have put it in there, that talks about our change orders are very, very low.
Okay, anything else? Okay, well, thank you guys, we appreciate it. And like I said, we'll have another meeting on the 29th at 5 o'clock. And then we will ask for your recommendation to take to council that same night. So it'll be 5 o'clock on the 29th, another special meeting so that you guys can make a recommendation and ask any more questions that you guys might have. And then I will send you guys, I'm going to send you guys the proposal from Garnett and the proposal from Chris that was graded from the original RFP. And I'll send you the original RFP that we published so you know exactly what we were looking for and make sure it's included in the proposal. So we appreciate you guys. If you have any questions in the meantime, let us know. Otherwise, we'll see you guys on the 29th at 5.
5 or 5:30?
5 o'clock.
Okay.
That's
29th next
Yes,
week.
next Tuesday.
So we want to wait for some public comments.
Yeah, well, we can open it up, public comment. That was mostly just so council can ask any questions that they have and not feel like they're... Yeah. Second, yeah, I think we're done whenever you want to adjourn.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
What do you say, workshop at 6:15?
I moved it. I make a motion to adjourn.
The meeting's not over, we haven't adjourned yet.
Oh.
I don't think so.
What are we waiting on?
Are we here for the workshop or
If
not?
you'd like, did you have a question?
Well, I wanted to let them exit and then see if there's anything y'all heard tonight that y'all really want to discuss tonight.
What, so both companies have done work for us in the past?
Correct.
Chris did the existing new water tower.
Correct.
We had any issues? How was the construction of that? Were there a lot of change orders? Were there issues?
That was before me.
Do you think they could provide us with, he said let's put that slide in, do you think he could provide us with some change order information?
If you'd like it, yeah.
His
I
record.
can ask him if they...
Well, is it in the proposal you're going to share?
I believe it might be. Yeah.
No,
I think it says the prices that was originally budgeted and then the price that it ended up at for their other tanks. But I'll double check, and if it's not in there, I'll ask him to send that over.
That was a key point that the other engineering firm harped on. and then he didn't, so just,
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, change orders don't necessarily mean the cost of the project, right?
Right.
It depends on how it's bid and the quality of it before it goes to bid as well, so.
is there any benefit from being a minority-owned business, any extra grants or anything to come from that?
No.
Okay.
So we have active relationship with both of them.
We do, yeah. Yeah, which is why staff has obviously handed it off and want you guys to make the decision, because of course we are totally good with working with both of them. That's probably why it was a tie when it was graded. Obviously, we have a lot of confidence in both firms and work with them on a lot of stuff, so the project's going to be great regardless of who engineers it, so.
When you graded it, was it just financial, or was it,
There's no finances included in, because we put out an RFP so that we're getting quality. Just like the rate study, we didn't want to do it based on price, we want to do it based on quality since it's such a key project, you know. Lowest bidder isn't always best, but we did it based on proposal and qualifications instead of price.
the conflict of interest has got me concerned. I mean, with them doing the Saline Regional stuff, how is that?
Well, I mean, all I can say is that Saline Regional, yeah, Matt is the hired engineer for Saline Regional Public Water Authority, and he does work for some of those other cities, but Vernon is also Salem's engineer and did Salem's tank, who's a part of Saline Regional. So while Matt is Saline Regional's engineer, Vernon also works with Saline Regional constituents as well.
Yes.
Matt's been working with Saline Regional for like 20 years on that project. So many times he's built this water tank and,
Yeah.
I mean, he's been working on that. Taking that long to get to.
Yeah, Vernon also actively attends Saline Regional meetings and is a part of Saline Regional meetings as well, so.
I just,
He works for UCM.
He does.
He does.
East End and Salem is what his proposals,
Yeah.
what he talked about, so.
Yeah.
I just, because that came up on the water deal. We knew Chris, we didn't know the other guys. Chris is involved in all this other stuff. Do we want to bring in a new set of eyes, or do we want to stay with the same old thing? Are we missing an opportunity by staying with the same thing? So,
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we won't speak to it because either firm are great. They both actively work with the city, so I think they both know us very well. Vernon did the PER for this project, so he knows it well. Chris did our master plan and our modeling, so they know it well. I think you're going to get, like I said, you're going to get a great engineer either way. I think staff feels very comfortable recommending either one of them.
do you know if Garnett has ever built a water tank?
They built the Salem one that they had in there.
That's it.
They built Salem's. I
And
think he
is
had that
it
in the presentation.
the same type?
It's the same composite cell tank. It's a
Okay.
little bit bigger.
Okay.
I noticed Matt kind of focused on the balancing and the pressure. Is that something that also Vernon did, that they looked at that too and just didn't highlight it?
Initially, we hired Vernon as a result to look at the south pressure plane because of water pressure issues, and that's why he started modeling the process. But once we figured out that we wanted to do that as part of the master water plan, and knew we were going to do a bigger tank, we stopped him and said, hey, there's going to be an overall water master plan, and we need to know where that falls into all that.
Okay.
What other kinds of projects has the Garnett firm done for the city besides just, do they work on just water, wastewater, or do they do other things as well?
They do stormwater, they've done a lot of our stormwater designs, usually on a smaller scale. And, yeah, they've been very integral in our stormwater.
They didn't give a lot of background as to who else he's worked with and the extension of the projects he's done outside of Bryant, so, I was left a little puzzled about that part of it.
He's done a lot of work for Salem. He's in charge of their modeling system for all of Salem.
Will we meet on the 29th? Are they going to be here, or is it just going to be us?
They will be here, yeah. Unless you would like them not to be, but yeah, they'll both be here to answer any questions you guys may have for further discussion, or if you wanted to give a presentation, and I can do that too, so.
Okay.
They'll be here.
All right, looks like we got some studying to do.
And I'll make sure to send you guys the original proposals. I think you guys have a hard copy of Vernon's, but I'll make sure to send Chris the electronic version, and I'll send Vernon's just so you have both electronic versions. I think they're pretty good files.
entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.